So we're at a financial services conference, right? Let's start with a number. $1.2 trillion. It's a big number. That is what Forrester predicts companies that focus on data-driven insights will steal from companies that aren't. It's a pretty simple question. Which side do you want to be on? This is where Stratifyd specializes. We specialize in the human-generated data that your customers are leaving behind. We analyze, we categorize, and we surface the intent behind all of your interactions. This has the goal of not only changing the way the customers interact with the business, but also the way the business interacts with the customers. So we really, to set out and do this, we had to embrace a few paradigms. It couldn't quote Forrester without bringing Gartner into it, right? So Gartner really preached, you need to democratize the data and you need to make it self-service. That's great until I give you 4 petabytes of data in Tableau and tell you to go. You're not gonna be able to do anything with that. So what we've done is we've bridged that gap by bringing AI into the fold. So we bring 2 types of AI in. So first, we bring in unsupervised machine learning. That's where we can help you read through all of your customer interactions and surface topics, themes, sentiment scoring in your contact center, energy scores, overtalk, silences, many different analytic pieces there. And then the second part is the supervised machine learning. And that's where we bring predictive intelligence, allowing you to do complaint versus feedback modeling, synthetic NPS scoring, giving yourself 100% coverage on your customer interactions. So without taking up too much more time, I'm going to turn it over to Sarah and let her show you the platform in action.
The entire premise of the platform is to make data science available to customer experience teams, customer insights teams, analytics teams in a timely manner. The data science teams in a lot of the Fortune 500 financials are covered up with risk, they're covered up with sales numbers, and a lot of times when a CX rep wants to get information, they don't have access to it. So we want to make it accessible to them. What we do is we bring data into the platform through custom-built APIs that we use to access the data. I'm going to show you how we do that. Our first win on time to insight, our low time to insight, is the ingestion piece. So I mentioned that we have API connections. Any data that you've brought into a platform, and you're looking at Stratifyd right now, any data that you've brought into the platform will live here. There isn't a limit to the number of sources that you can bring in, and they are omni-channel. So from app reviews to survey to mobile apps, those are things you can bring in. So I'm going to give you an idea of what that looks like. These are among the pre-built connectors that we have. If you look at Medallia or Qualtrics, Medallia surprisingly doesn't have an API, but they do have a web data connector. We can use any of these for our customers to bring in their chat, as well as their customer service data, whether it be call center, we do the speech-to-text piece, to analyze that side by side. Once we've brought the data into the platform, we're going to run the machine learning piece. This is where the rubber really meets the road. Kevin alluded to our unsupervised model, so we do have a deep learning natural language understanding model that's an NLP model that both stems and tokenizes. The way this model has been built can be run on pretty much any language. The tokenization allows us to run this with proximity rules that give us the opportunity to generate text and generate topics from virtually any language. The supervised models, whether you have a data science background or not, give you the opportunity to train models with a high F1 score, which in data science is going to be your gold standard. And whether you have experience or not with a random forest, a feed-forward, a logistic regression, these are models you have the opportunity to use. And the last one I'll draw your attention to before we dive into the platform is our neural sentiment model. This is a neural network model that was trained on 40 million pieces of customer feedback. If you took 10 pieces of feedback every day for 85 years of your life and you read that every morning, you wouldn't get through a third of it. So the amount of data that we're able to process for you is substantial, and to get the emotional content of the customer with that is extremely granular. Let's take a look at an NPS survey. NPS, along with CSAT, are the gold standards. And on the face of it, this looks like a really good data set. The NPS score is strong, 8, 9, 10. The structured survey questions are strong, 5, 5, 5. But if I apply my neural network sentiment model to look at the low sentiment customers, look at what happens to my structured survey questions. We have point and click filtering. Once I drill into that, look at my structured survey questions. They're still 5, 5, 5. So what's happening in the unstructured text that the customers give us that we can uncover? Right away, not only do we have bigrams that are generated by machine learning, we have banded topics so that we can get better penetration into those insights. Change address over draft fee. Let's look at that. Within 30 seconds, I have insight. What's driving the overdraft fee are customers who are changing addresses, and it's not being applied within their online portal. This is just an example of what we can do with Stratifyd. So we'd invite you back to our booth. If you look at the expo room and you're facing it, we're on the far left side, back through that door, just inside. We'd love to talk to you.
Thank you.